Hi, if you know us already, then I suggest you fast forward this intro part. You may already have seen our design work on shelves and back bars, but didn't realise who designed it. As you can see from the slides here, we've done quite a few labels over the years. We've been designing alcohol packaging now for the past 25 years, telling stories with packs. So a little background on who and what. I'm Ivan Bell, I'm the MD of Stranger&Stranger, and Stranger&Stranger are brand packaging designers, doing everything from bottle structures, strategy, right through to labels. We have studios in London, New York and San Francisco, and we are 30 people. We know Europe and the US very well. We help fix brands. We give people new brands, ones that win awards and sell at a premium. We also give brands a unique edge based on insights and research. But best of all, as designers, we get to design sexy packaging, much like the packs on the shelves here behind me, the sort of packs that consumers just can't put down. We help create billions in sales in one of the toughest sectors in the whole of retail. We work for companies big and small, and they all have the same thing in common. They need to tell a story. They need to tell their brand story on pack. In alcohol, we are working in a world where products mostly can't be sampled before being purchased, even more so now in the current COVID world. So the first sale will always come from the packaging. How the product looks, how desirable it is, how premium or luxury it is, or not, as the case may be, and the expectation that this builds on how the product will taste once opened. This all comes from the packaging and how well or poorly it's been designed. Drinks packaging has to do a lot of the heavy lifting, the label and the bottle working as your 3D advert, conveying a story, telling us what you stand for, making us, the consumer, want it and to buy it. So I'm going to show you a few case study stories, how a well-executed design can add value to a brand. We'll start off appropriately with gin. As you can see in these few slides, we've done quite a few of these over the years and are still doing a few more at the moment. So let's look at one you may know, Harris. When we were first approached to consider the project, the distillery didn't exist. We were inspired by the notion of a social distillery creating jobs on the island. Harris in the Outer Hebrides is a beautiful, wild and rugged island. It's off the coast of Scotland. It's inhabited by the most friendly and approachable of people. The island is of course known for its famous textile, Harris tweed. So we needed to capture this spirit of the island in the gin bottle. The CEO of the Isle of Harris distillery believed that the rare and elusive spirit of the island could be captured in a bottle and shared with the whole world. So our brief was to simply bottle the island. So we took inspiration from the island and from the tweed design and created an iconic piece of glass. You'll see on this slide tells the story of the island, the ruggedness, the tweed, the beautiful aqua blue sea of the Liechtenstein beach. On this next slide you see the label paper stock. It's ingrained with pieces of sugar kelp, the signature botanical of Harris gin. This makes each label different and the paper is a natural sandy white colour, just like the beach. On this slide you'll see that little has changed from the original concept visual to the finished product, just replacing the local rock on the cap with natural wood. So, has the pack design added value to the brand? I'll leave Simon Erlanger to answer that question. As you can see here, his quote, "It has been fundamentally important in the success of the venture." And of course, it's also attracted a lot of attention and brand love from around the globe. As you see on this slide, apart from the various added value gift sets from the distillery, people are also using the iconic glass as lampstands and even selling empty bottles at a premium. We now look at number 3 gin. It's a recently completed repack project. Number 3 is an iconic gin, but it looked tired and out of date and was disappearing on shelf. No one really knew what it stood for. It needed a reason to believe. As you may know, it's produced by one of the oldest firms in London, Berry Brothers and Rudd at number 3 St James Street, hence the name. But we found number 3 went deeper than that. Aside from the fact that Berry Brothers have been around for 3 centuries, the gin is made with a blend of 3 botanicals: juniper, citrus and spice, and is crafted with an obsession that we've seen in another sector. It's really a gin that thinks it's a whiskey. So, as you can see on this slide, we made sense of the key by adding in the botanicals and developed the iconic 3-sided bottle that tells the story of the craft in exquisite detail on the labelling. The new pack has recently been released and to date has been receiving very positive results. So, now for a startup NPD story, Italicus. Giuseppe Gallo, shown here, who is well known and respected in the industry, having spent many years as a mixologist and brand ambassador for Martini, as well as other places, walked into our London studio with a piece of fruit. Sounds like a joke, but it's not. The fruit was a bergamot, a fragrant relative of the orange, and he had an idea to resurrect an old Italian liqueur recipe. He called it his kamikaze project. We called it a challenge, and as we know, we all like challenges. It's an unusual product with great provenance, from a historic recipe dating back to the 19th century and produced in a family-run distillery using a traditional process. This was always going to be a stylish and sophisticated brand, the one and only super premium Italian liqueur, very quintessential, very Italian. So, to our inspiration, well, we do our research, and we love research. We like to dig, and there are few places you can dig quite as deeply as Italy. From the colours of the Italian coast, to the style, the Italian rich history, the distinctive typography, and that's before you even get to the bergamot fruit itself. As you can see here, the bottle shape is inspired by the shape of the fruit, even down to the section markings on the base punt. And the custom cap on this slide is inspired by classic Italian architecture and cameos. Here you see the finished pack. Very Italian, very premium. But the pack needs to live in a world that reinforces the values and positioning of the brand. So when we design packaging, we are also considering the brand world that the pack will eventually live in, and how this synergy in style will be understood by consumers, as you can see on this slide. Giuseppe and I recently held a talk at the Pent Awards conference in London and took questions from the audience. One question to Giuseppe was, has the packaging design helped open doors for the brand? His answer was most definitely. So, has it added value to the brand? Well, I think you'll have to ask Pernod Ricard, as they recently acquired the brand for its portfolio, and at a premium. Well done, Giuseppe. So, now a brand reinvention story. Aberfeldy single malt Scotch whisky. As you can see from the slide here, this brand was struggling with the conflict of identity. Is it Dewar's or is it Aberfeldy? And what's so unique about the squirrel on the label? There are squirrels throughout the UK, not just in Scotland. The pack was also dying on shelf with no standout. So we were asked to look at this and retain the existing glass structure. As always, we started with our research. We went up to the distillery and spent time with the marketing team. The distillery is a magical place on the banks of the River Tay. During our conversations at the distillery and speaking to one of the stillmen, we found out that he was the 3rd generation of his family to work at Aberfeldy. And a little known fact was that his great-great-great-great-grandfather had been panning for gold in the Batilli Burn, which happens to be the water source for the distillery. So, all of a sudden, we had our edge, we had our USP. And so we developed the packaging design strategy, the Golden Dram. This influenced how we developed the packaging across the range of whiskies. We also added iconography to the packs to reveal more of the rich authenticity of the brand story. Storytelling all the way. We developed on and off pack lockups. We also added educational pieces to the primary and secondary packs, all following the Golden Dram strategy. Here you see the initial concept. And here you see the finished pack designs. Providing laddering as the liquid age and price increases, so adding additional value to the packaging. And on this slide, again, we're also considering how the packaging lives in the brand world, all with a consistent look and feel. And on this slide, you can see it goes from key visuals to POS. So, did the redesign add value? Well, when the product was relaunched and reintroduced in GTR, they went through 12 months supply in under 12 weeks. And the brand packaging continues to win consumers' hearts. On this slide, ironically, coming full circle to win gold in the Travel Retail Shoppers Awards. So finally, we have a story of a million case brand, another MPD project at the time. The Kraken, a unique brand name and bespoke pack. In coming to market, it went from 0 to 100,000 cases in only 10 months with no advertising. So that's purely from people seeing the pictures of the pack on style blogs and the likes. And this continued. The UK launch sold out in days, and with 700,000 cases sold by year 3, and then becoming a million case brand since then. As you can see from this slide, you know when you're onto something when people start to commit it to ink. You'd be surprised where people would have a tattoo, or where the brand lives beyond the product. We asked recently if they'd ever sell the brand. As you can see, the answer was no. So finally, I'd like to leave you with 3 actions for your future packaging. You should get noticed on shelf. Don't be afraid to be polarizing. Get talked about. Basically, stand out. Thank you from the team at Stranger&Stranger, and stay safe.